See, or the Antaranga Shakti. But it's not that he totally neglects the Bahiranga Shakti. He comes to Bahiranga Shakti so only with the mood of helping the suffering souls to get attracted to him. He comes here, Paritranaya Sadhunam, Vinasha Dushkritam, Dharma Samsthapanartha. He does all that. And he goes back. But his heart is not here. His heart is where? In the Parashakti, not in the Apara. Yeah. And it's a fact. Like you ask our Prime Minister of India, sir, what are the plans you are making for the next 5 years? Will you have plans in the country or in the jail? I'm just asking. Correct, na? Because jail is a place where you have to repair the fellows first. You know, you have to reform the fellows. Actually, they are not even normal citizens. You have to bring them to first normalcy. They are like mad fellows. And they have committed criminal activities and all. They're put in the jail. And once their madness is like sometimes parents have a what do you call it? A mentally retarded child. You've seen that sometimes. Can the parents expect anything responsible from them? Sometimes the boy is very fat. You've seen that. A mad boy in the home. He's laughing himself. He beats something. And mostly staying at home and he doesn't go to school and all. Doesn't go to school, doesn't go to college, not responsible. But the parents don't get rid of him, throwing him away. Because after all, he's whose child? Yeah. Then sometimes they have to keep him in a room. They can't allow him to run. He will go anywhere in the street and create problem for himself and others also. So they have to keep him in a confined area and they give him something to play, something to talk, something to do. Especially if they're grown up, it's all the more difficult, correct? Na? So the conditions also in material world like that only. They are like spiritually, mentally retarded. Because they are not awakened spiritually. So then they have their independent program of, actually the independent program is mad program only. It's all like Ravana had his own madness. Hiranyakashipu had his madness. Vena Raja had his madness. Kamsa had his madness. To fulfill their mad program, this living entities trouble other living entities so badly. Correct, no? Isn't it? But once a jiva reforms and becomes aligned with Lord's will, then he becomes sane. So there is insanity and there is sanity. So when he becomes sane, then he is fit to re-enter the spiritual world again. So when he goes back there, Antaranga Shakti, then the Lord has Leelas. Then he can join the Lord's Nitya Leela in the spiritual planet Goloka. Ultimately can reach him. In this way, Lord has given an avenue for the mad living entities to come to material world and get reformed gradually. Correct, no? But he is not in charge for that directly. There is a subordinate in charge for that. Who will take care of that? Like for example, Indian government has a department which is criminal department and civil department. So both are taken care by the Prime Minister ultimately. But then the criminal department is handled by some fellows like Yamadutas and Yamaraj. Is a superintendent of death and constables for punishment and everything. So that is one department where one is sent to. Like material world itself is a jail, and hell is like a jail in jail. Correct, no? But especially for very dangerous living entities who are troubling other living entities too much. So for them there is a jail in jail. Like in jail also you can ask, they will tell you that some fellows try to dig the ground and go underground and escape. Some fellows stab other fellows inside jail also. They bite other fellows, they use nails to hit other fellows. So then they will have to put them in a deeper confinement, you will see that. So therefore, for taking care of those living entities, mad living entities, there is a separate provision, which also goes to show how big heart Krishna has. He doesn't neglect the living entities who are rebellious of him, who want to be independent of him. They have their, and for their independently enacted plans, he is providing facility also. Correct, no? See one place I read how this world is so beautiful. If such a beautiful world he gives for the rebellious souls, for the good souls, what he will give? Think about it, isn't it? And such a facility, such comfort he has provided. Correct, no? Even though they are not serving him, they are serving their own senses. Still, he has provided so much. And in case somebody aligns with him and serves with him, you can imagine how he will keep very nicely. So, therefore, it's the duty of the preachers to glorify the Lord based on the scriptures, to make the living entities know His glory. Because just like a young girl who is getting married, one of her first concerns is, whether this husband will keep me well, whether he will take good care of me, he will not be angry with me, he will not be not gentle with me, and whether he has sufficient money, whether he will give me a car, he will give a nice house, he will provide me nice dresses to wear, nice ornaments. My parents kept me so well all these years. Now I am moving from parent shelter to husband shelter. So this is one of the anxieties. But a girl confidently goes with him because who has connected her to him? Her parents. So because of her strong faith in the parents, that faith is now transferred from the parents to the husband. She is ready to go. Therefore, in the same manner, if you have a very strong faith in Prabhupada and our Guru, when they are handing us over to shelter of Krishna, we can have full faith that, whatever shelter I am experiencing now in Guru and, Param Guru, In that type of shelter, I will also get in Krishna. That's how one can gradually experience that shelter in Krishna. What a wonderful Lord he is. So then one will not fear to give up the material shelters. Sarvadharman parityaja. And then one can take shelter of Krishna. Go to the next paragraph.
The living entities are also differentiated expansions of the Lord's self, and because some of them desire to be lords
And that is the madness. Correct, na? Some of them desire to be lords and
imitate the Supreme Lord, he allows them to enter into the cosmic creation with the option to fully utilize their propensity to lord it over nature. Because of the presence of his parts and parcels, the living entities, the entire phenomenal world is stirred into action and reaction. Thus, the living entities are given full facilities to lord it over material nature, but the ultimate controller is the Lord himself in his plenary feature as Paramatma, the super soul, who is one of the Purushas.
Like you go to the Ayurveda jail, and the thieves, like one thief, of course, they are given a special type of dress to wear, correct? No? Checkered shirt they give for the thief. Similarly, we are given a special type of bodily dress, correct? No? And they're given a confined place to live. So they are also given food, clothing, shelter. Similarly, we are also provided grains and fruits and rains and everything. You can see that. Very similar situation. And in the jail, sometimes one thief is telling another thief, hey, I am the Prime Minister of India. He says, another fellow is saying, oh, really? He's saluting him. One fellow is claiming to be a PM, another fellow is saluting. Who is a fool? Both are fools, yeah. Isn't it? And that's the way the material world is. Material world, people just flatter each other, like that story you heard, no? Pushtranam ki vivakeshu gadharbam pratijayate parasparam prashansanti aho rupam aho dvani. Like in the marriage party of a camel, a donkey went, and donkey suddenly thought everybody has brought marriage gifts except me. Now, in case you don't have a gift to give, what you should do? Speak some sweet words, nice words. So he was just making up his mind, what can I say? So when in the queue, and his turn came, he looked at the camel and said, oh, wow, how beautiful you look on your marriage day. But are the camels beautiful? Known for their beauty? Camels are in Tamaguna. Their eyes are always closed. They look like sleepy. Always. But camel thought, I also have to return back some good words. So what he said? Ahodvani. He said, oh, your voice is so sweet, he said. He said, your form is sweet, and he said, your voice is sweet. See, in this world, people actually oftentimes, what do you call it? They speak something, but they have something else in their mind. Like for example, if you go to the IT areas, people generally sleep a lot on weekends, Saturday, Sunday, because 5 days they work very hard, isn't it? On Saturday, they may get up at 10:30, 11 o'clock. Sunday also, even later, even 12 o'clock also. Because night they go late, but then morning, very late they get up like that. So one fellow was thinking on Friday, oh, today is Friday, I returned home at 10 o'clock now. Next 2 days I will sleep a lot, he was thinking. But then somebody came and patted the door. Suddenly, he got up at 10 o'clock and went and opened the door. And he saw his old uncle with a cap and specs, who is 65, 70 years, tucked in pant, shirt, everything. He came with a big luggage from a faraway place. And he opened and said, oh, uncle. Oh, really? We never knew you were coming today. Very glad to have you. Like that he smiled. But what was he thinking inside? Why this fellow came? If he had given us a notice that he is coming, you would have flew somewhere else to relax in the weekend. Suddenly he's called Tithi. Means without Tithi they come suddenly. And then he's asking, uncle, are you alone or somebody else is with you? As that he's saying. And behind he finds aunt is also there. Oh, my wife has come also. And what about the children? Yeah, children are climbing up the staircase. They are coming. Oh, all my four children have come. 4 kids. And he tells the uncle, oh, really? All of you are here. We are so happy to have you, uncle, he says. Is he very happy? Oh, if you came single, it would have been better. Now we are miserable to have so many of you accommodated in our house. And then he's asking uncle, what brings you here, uncle? Any special program here? Then uncle says, oh, this is Chutika time now. Children are summer vacation. And I am anyway retired. My wife is also retired. I am retired. हमने सोचा चलो जाकर आते हैं. I say, and he's worrying, my lord, summer vacation. So how long? It's like indefinite period, correct? And he says, thank you, uncle, for coming and staying with us in summer vacation. We are very happy. So he's asking the wife, please make some juice. Would you like to have some juice or not? And they say, why not? You are providing with so much love, please give. And he says, so you will find sometimes a person becomes calculative. How much money I will have to spend on these people? So 2 plus 4 more. How much? 6 people will stay, and how many days they will stay, what they will do here. They'll be very demanding. We lose our privacy at home. Correct, no? So the material world is very artificial world. So both parties are speaking something what is not in their heart. Correct, no? So what is uncle's plan? Uncle is thinking that if you go for a couple of months with our children, then we can avoid the expenses for 2 months. Just go and relax. So, and also they will cook and we can have a fun time. So, but this person is very worried. Understand what I'm saying? Material world is full of flattery. And on the other hand, therefore you will find in the jail is a place where you find the living entities who are mad and who create trouble to one another and trouble to themselves also. Correct, no? So Lord doesn't take an active role in the material world. He plays a passive role. Who is the passive role of the Lord? Paramatma. Correct. Paramatma. Paramatma is the heart. He is so passive that you can't even perceive him very easily. Although you know how he looks like, but you can't even see him. Because he doesn't want to show himself. Because the jivas have turned away from him and they are not eager to see him. Actually, those devotees become more and more sincere. The Paramatma's voice will start gradually awakening. Prabhupada says in Raganuga stage, when one comes to spontaneous to, when one comes to from the Vaidhi to the spontaneous, they are going gradually. Of course, at that stage when Ruchi, Asakti and all, the one will see the Lord eye to eye also. But the super soul's voice become very pronounced and clear and crystal clear for a person. Otherwise, the super soul is very hidden. Correct? No? This is all. So therefore, Krishna doesn't directly interact with the conditioned souls in the jail of the material world. He puts the Purushas there. Okay, let these Purushas deal with these living entities. Just like a father or mother would arrange a tuition teacher to handle a naughty child who is playing all day and not studying at all. Do you think father likes to beat the child? But if the teacher is raising the stick and taunting the child, father and mother are seeing from a distance. I teacher maar rahe hain bachche ko. Now the bacha has to study now. Because the parents want that. This is the beautiful explanation given in the famous verse. Yaya sammohito jiva atmanam trigunatmakam paropi manute nartham tatkritam chapi padyate. This is a very, very important verse purport. There are 2 pages, 2-3 pages, elaborate purport. That purport says the Lord does not like to see the living entity being punished by himself directly. So he puts the living entity under the custody of the sammohito jiva, under the custody of Maya Devi. And when the Maya Devi, external energy, is punishing the jiva, the Lord does not like it. At the same time, Lord knows it is meant for reforming the jiva to bring him to sanity. So he gets it done from the Maya Devi. And this is the reason why Krishna doesn't directly take part in the material world. Because it's a little naughty job. It's a little difficult job it is. Because it's purifying a conditioned soul who is naughty and who wants to be very independent. Because spiritual world is filled with pure living entities who are completely aligned with the Lord, who are affectionate to the Lord, who will serve him with devotion, and they have no tinge of mundane qualities. Correct, no? Material world is therefore, because material world, even when Krishna or Rama come, living entities find fault with them also. You will see that. That's material world. So he has handed them over to another agency, the material agency, which is Durga. Go ahead.
Thus, there is a gulf of difference between the living entity, Atma, and the controlling Lord, Paramatma, the soul and the supersoul. Paramatma is the controller and the Atma is the controlled. Therefore, they are in different categories. Because the Paramatma fully cooperates with the Atma, he is known as the constant companion of the living being.
How he cooperates? It's not that Paramatma is ordered by Jivatma, but the Paramatma cooperates with Jivatma in what sense? Actually, he has come with the Jiva to fulfill the needs of the Jiva, which may be good or bad. Correct, no? Matta smritir jnanam apohanamcha. So Lord is accompanying the Jiva. And he's neutral. And he's a Sakshi. And he's a great companion. He's called Suhrit, greatest well-wisher. Go ahead. There's a verse, no? Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwarah paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purushaparaha. He's saying, Upadrashta means director. Anumanta means permitter. Bharta means maintainer. Bhokta, the supreme enjoyer. Maheshwarah, the supreme lord. So paramatmeti cha apyukto. His name is Paramatma. He's saying, Dehesmin, he is there in this body only. Dehesmin Purushaparaha is a transcendental Purusha standing in the hearts of Jivas. Go ahead.
The all-pervading feature of the Lord, which exists in all circumstances of waking and sleeping, as well as in potential states, and from which the Jiva Shakti, living force, is generated as both conditioned and liberated souls, is known as Brahman. Since the Lord is the origin of both Paramatma and Brahman, he is the origin of all living entities and all else that exists. One who knows this engages himself at once in the devotional service of the Lord. Such a pure and fully cognizant devotee of the Lord is fully attached to him in heart and soul, and whenever such a devotee assembles with similar devotees, they have no engagement, but glorification of the Lord's transcendental activities. Those who are not as perfect...
What is that verse? Matchitta madgata pranaha bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. He says, my devotees come together. That's a very beautiful commentary. I'll just show you. What is the verse number? Machchitta Matgata Prana, 10 point. So he says, yeah. See what he says, Chakra, very nice commentary. Such Ananya Bhaktas who have attained, see, with minds greedy for me, being completely dependent on me, mutually hearing about me and singing about me, they continuously experience satisfaction and enjoyment. Such Ananya Bhaktas who have attained spiritual intelligence, Buddhi Yoga, by my mercy, attain factual knowledge of me, he says, which is hard to understand. Their minds are greedy for my form, name, qualities, pastimes, and taste of sweetness, Machitta. They are unable to maintain their lives without me. That's Madgata Pranaha. Just as men are completely dedicated to food. Annagata Prananara. You know, Annagata Prananara means actually people don't just eat food to maintain their life alone. People want to eat tasty food also. Do you agree? Correct? Not just anything to just fill up the belly. Huh? Everybody's looking for tasty. First, people want to somehow survive by eating. And after that, they want tasty food. And then they want special tasty food, like fine foods. Correct? No? In this way, for example, you are not given any food for 3 days. It's very painful, correct? No? But then if you are given rice, dal, chapati, chapati, it's better than fasting. And better than rice, dal, chapati, chapati is pulao, kadhi, rasam, like that. Finer foods, correct? No? So, annagata prana nara means, people are completely dedicated to food. Like that he says. So, just as a jiva is hankering for food, similarly the pure devotees hanker for Krishna. Without Krishna, they cannot survive, like that he's saying. Since they depend on Krishna to live, they explain to each other with friendliness about the types of bhakti and the real nature of bhakti, bodhayanta. They actually delight in glorifying the Lord to one another, and they talk. They talk, of course, to new people also, and talk amongst one another also, and they delight in joyfully explaining about the Lord's specific qualities, His nature, His activities, and with great admiration. Just as you will see, if a boy has an attraction for a girl, he will go and tell so many other boys about her. And after telling them, he will tell them also, don't tell anybody. Keep it a little confidential, okay? And then how many people he has told? Practically everyone in the class. Some or other, suddenly somebody releases the secret. Others will say, I know everything. They will say. So here's the nature of talking hours and hours. In those 5 arrows of Kamadeva, one of the stages he says that a person not only wants to connect with the object of love, but he wants to connect 24/7. When he's in the college, he wants to connect. When he goes home, he makes phone call. Even in the dead of the night, he makes phone calls. Nowadays, they have smartphones. They can see the face also. So you will see the desire to connect with the person earlier is like occasional, but then eventually, as the attraction increases, they want to connect how long? 25/7. That kind of attraction comes. So therefore, he is saying the same manner with Krishna also. He's saying they talk about me, who is a great version of very sweet form, qualities, and pastimes, Kathayanta, and glorify me by narrating about my form, qualities, and pastimes. Since Smarana, Machita, Shravana, Bodhayanta, and Kirtana, Kathayanta are the best among all types of bhakti, they have been specifically mentioned here. 3 words are used, correct? No? Machita means it is remembrance, Smarana. And Bodhayanta Parasparam means that is Shravana. And Kirtan, Kathayanta means they speak to each other. That is Kirtan. So basically, it is all about Shravan, Kirtan, and Smaran. 3 things they do. This is their heart for them. Thus, by this bhakti alone, these devotees are satisfied and they experience great happiness. And these are all describing about their internal experience. And then he's saying, or the meaning of satisfaction and enjoyment can be as follows. They are tushyanti, satisfied, even at the stage of sadhana, by continual performance of their worship brought about by good fortune. And they take pleasure, ramanti, in thinking of their future attainment of prema, and enjoy with their Lord through their mind. This interpretation indicates Raganuga Bhakti. You see, before Raganuga Bhakti, we delight in the sadhana practices like Navavida Bhakti or any other type of services. And after Raganuga stage, one delights in the personality of Godhead with his qualities and pastimes and all. So this is what Chakravarti commented. Now Ramanuja also says something interesting. We'll see. Sridhar Swami also, but that is in Sanskrit, I think. Okay. 10.9. See here, he says here, with their minds focused on me, with their pranas centered in me. See, the prana is the one which pushes the hands, legs, and all the working senses. That means they very actively work for the Lord. Like, for example, doing abhishek for the Lord, carrying the palanquin of the Lord, cleaning the temple of the Lord, dancing in the kirtan, singing in the kirtan, because speech is also pushed by the prana only. Correct? One of the working senses. They sing loudly, Uchchaihi, Evam Hasati Roditi Rauti Gayati. Movement of their hands, legs, going to the temple, rising early in the morning, taking a bath. So in this way, he says that with their prana centered in me, inspiring one another and always speaking of me, they live in contentment and bliss at all times, he says. They live with their minds focused on me, namely with their minds fixed on me, with their prana. Life centered on me means, the meaning is that they are unable to sustain themselves without me. And they inspire one another by speaking about my attributes, which have been experienced by them, narrating my divine, adorable deeds, which means the pastimes. The main thing is in Shravanam is describing the Lord's pastimes. And they live in contentment and bliss at all times. See, contentment means satisfaction. They have no hankerings, material hankerings. The speakers are delighted by their own speech because it is spontaneous, without any ulterior motive. See, this is a special commentary of Ramanuja. He says that, see, the speakers are delighted, which is very surprising. Why? Because they are not getting any remuneration for their glorification. Correct, no? And oftentimes, they may not have enough audience also. Like you can see this devotee, what is his name? Kala Chakra Prabhu, who came here, he gave a Bhagavatam class. And after the Bhagavatam class, devotees went for Prasad Mandal, and he had announced that if anybody want to join further class, you can come. Then in the top roof, the NVCC roof, he went and sat. Just two Matajis were sitting and four Prabhujis were sitting, 6 people. And I heard that it started at 10 o'clock, it was going till 2 o'clock. So I joined at 1. Somebody told me, then I also went and joined. 1 hour, last 1 hour I joined. It was 2 o'clock, everybody was hungry, they had to go for prasadam or something. But what I was telling, just 6 people are sitting and they are all just reading purport after purport of Bhagavatam and then discussing very happily as if, and he's so ecstatic as if, he has 5,000 people in the audience. He's so joyful. So therefore he's saying this point, the speakers are delighted by their own speech because it is spontaneous, means it springs from their heart, and without any ulterior motive. The listeners too feel the speech to be unsurpassingly and incomparably dear to them. They both thus live in bliss. So like that is describing. And this type of thing you can see in other places also. Like Vidura Maitreya meeting. Maitreya is describing about Krishna. He gets overwhelmed in describing about Krishna. Similarly, you will find Uddhava. As soon as Vidura asked him a question about Krishna, what happened to Uddhava? Fainted unconscious. And then later on, he slowly came to external consciousness. Because the very thought of Krishna made him faint, unconscious like that. So, and then they both had a very delightful conversation. Same thing with Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit. They both are delighting in each other's association, glorifying Krishna, correct? No? So you can see that, how interesting and enthusiastic. Same with Sutta Goswami and Shaunaka Rishis. They are saying, Vayam navitrupyama uttama shloka vikrame yata shanvatam rasajnanam swadu pade pade. He says, at every step your katha is so enlivening. So in this way, it is only the Lord who gives them. You completed the purpose? Finish it?
Those who are not as perfect as the pure devotees, namely those who have realized only the Brahman or Paramatma features of the Lord, cannot appreciate the activities of the perfect devotees.
So therefore you find the ecstasies are not present in Karmis, Jnanis, Yogis. When Shukadeva Goswami was speaking Krishna's pastimes, those who are pure-hearted devotees, they would laugh heartily, they would be moved heartily. But the Karmis, Jnanis, Yogis, they had their agendas. Correct, no? So even any devotee also, we have Anya Vilasha with us. Then we cannot actually put our heart in hearing the pastimes. Because some of the pastimes may be disturbing to our minds. We hear about Krishna dancing with gopis. One may feel uneasy because one feels that I also want to dance. Not as a gopi, but I want to dance like the way Krishna is dancing with his gopis. I want to dance with some dandiyaras I want to do. So as long as enjoying mentality is there, Krishna's pastimes cannot touch our heart, or it cannot actually be pleasing to us. Because actually, therefore we get sleep in the Bhagavatam, correct? No? Because who is being glorified? Whereas when there is somebody talking about us, can we go to sleep? Somebody says, hey Prabhu, I want to tell about your song, or tell about your lecture. I want to tell you about your academic achievements or whatever. So at that time we are very alert, extremely alert, very attentive, isn't it? Very, very, tell me more. How do you exactly intelligently understand my glories? Correct, no? You become very attentive like this. And when somebody is saying, Krishna is this, Krishna is Bhautaram Yagyadapasam, no one goes to sleep there, correct, no? So, but it will go away. That's the promise of Bhagavatam. If you keep hearing Bhagavatam, that Arati will, Apaiti Aratir, Vitrishna, it is said. But there's a problem that's explained in this purport. He's saying about the lording over nature, bossing nature. Yeah. So they are all, therefore these guys go for Paramatma future or Brahman future because they are not eligible for Bhagavan future. Bhagavan future comes in Srimad Bhagavatam elaborately. Only those who have become purified more and more can, deeply appreciate Kathas. So when I was in Bombay temple, as well as going to Yatra time and all, my Christmas is to train us in getting what technically we can call it as a hearing stamina. You can call it. Like I remember one of the years I was there during the Gaur Purnima day, they told that 5 days Katha they will have. And Maharaj will speak on Friday Katha, they said. So, and Gaur Purnima day is morning 8 o'clock, correct, no? 8 o'clock you would start until go till 2 o'clock. How many hours? 6 hours, yeah. So Gaur Purnima day, that's how he spoke continuously. And subsequent day was also feast, I think. What do you call it? Jagannath feast, I think. Jagannath Mishra festival. And that was in the afternoon. Again it went till 1:30. That day also it was like that. And the other days, devotees could take prasadam. So they were told that, okay, take some little khichdi and come. So khichdi was made early. So they finished little prasadam in the morning and then they came. Again, it would go till like 12, 12:31, like that. So that was what people devotees call as Gaur Leela lectures. Correct, no? That was a year, I think. So almost 25 was, 30 was it's there. Lectures were there, continuously spoken like this. So initially, mind will resist a lot to hear a longer. Nowadays, attention span is very less in people. People are hearing 5-minute videos, 8-minute videos. Correct, huh? Some are 2 minutes. Some of them are 0.3 like that also. You've seen some videos. People always don't open only. People. So some of my lectures, we see, it will say 1 hour 58 minutes. People would never touch it also. Correct, huh? Isn't it? So people ask why Prabhuji is struggling so much to put such a long lecture. Who is going to watch it? But one thing is true. Once a person has already developed taste, he won't mind even if the lecture is a 2 hour, 2.5 hours, 3 hours also. He won't mind. So there are a few fellows who will have that attraction to hear it. But why I'm telling you, this is a, therefore what he says here, yeah, and complete that.
The Lord always helps the pure devotees by imparting necessary knowledge within
I was telling about the Paramatmavadis and Brahmavadis. They were sitting in that assembly of Sudha Goswami. When Parishit saw that, these jnanis, yogis, karmis are getting disturbed. When Sudha Goswami is speaking about, when Shukadeva Goswami is speaking about this thing, Rasalila, Parikshit noticed that. Then he asked some questions to Shukadeva Goswami, which will exactly answer the skeptical doubts of those karmis, jnanis, yogis. Because karmis, jnanis, yogis are not feeling ecstasy. Like for example, when one sannyasi was speaking about how Indra's ego is smashed, some of the boys are, then he was speaking about the Kaliya Nartan. So one Swami was telling in the lecture that when Kaliya was smashed, his head was being smashed at the time the wives came. And then Kaliya had heard a lot from his wives before, but he heard with 1 ear and left with another ear. But now when they offered prayer to Krishna, that time he heard very well, very submissively. And he was such a fool. He was not knowing anything of his own. He just repeated those prayers. And the Kaliya's wives, Krishna told Kaliya's wives, I delivered this fellow and didn't kill him. Why? Because he's a husband of you, all pure devotees. So by the wife's mercy, Kaliya got delivered. So when Swami was speaking all this, one boy was feeling a lot of ego problem. Correct, no? Why is he feeling ego problem? 2 reasons. One is he is identifying himself with Kaliya. And also he's feeling that why should a husband depend on wife's mercy? That is the second reason. And third one, why should my wife glorify Krishna instead of glorifying me? I am her Purush. I have the Purusha Bhava. I should be glorified. Why should you glorify Krishna? Why is he a bigger hero than me? So sometimes a man who is not a devotee can face problem with a wife who is becoming a devotee of Krishna. So he will ask, you are attracted to Krishna more than me? So you should be attracted to me. You may feel ego problem like that. It's a conditioned stage. Neither is he a man nor is she a woman. Ultimately, all jivas are Prakriti. But one can face ego problem. Therefore, Krishna's pastimes are only pleasing for those who are already purified and free from upadhis, free from material upadhis. I am neither a man or a woman. I am simply Krishna Das. That was Ayananda Tanuja Kinkaram. So if you have not come to the platform, how many of you have experienced some Maharaja, somebody was describing a pastime, you felt little ego problem in hearing Krishna's pastime. You experienced? You didn't feel any ego problem. Huh? You didn't feel it, huh? Yeah. Huh? You don't remember? Because there, and especially if some women are involved, it will become all the more problem. Especially Nagapatnis are involved. Otherwise, in Shankachoda pastime, this Shankachoda is coming and leading all this, he's trying to push gopis with a stick in the hand. Chalo, chalo! So Uttar Disha mein chalo, he's telling, go all of you, go towards the north. And he's yelling at them, shouting, and all the gopis are frightened. Who is this fellow? And it's a big, gigantic fellow, like this with both his hands and a stick and then, hey! So, like not driving some sheep or something like that. He's driving them. And all the gopis are screaming, Krishna, Balaram. They are behind. Krishna Balaram shouted, Gopis, don't worry, we are coming behind. We will not leave this fellow. Of course, then Krishna told Balaram, take care of the gopis and I will take care of this fellow. And with this, with his Mushti Prahar, Krishna attacks him. Then all the gopis are protected by Balaram and Krishna goes and attacks and finishes Shankachuda. So Shankachuda represents the lusty propensity of trying to exploit and enjoy Krishna's energy, Krishna's Shaktis. All the gopis, Lakshmi, Sahasra, Shata Sambrama Sevyama, they are all Krishna's gopis. But Jiva wants to enjoy all the beauties for his own pleasure. Correct. So when you hear this pastime, somebody may feel ego problem. Why? Because he's thinking, who is he? Shankachuda. Because as long as the Shankachuda mentality is there for enjoying the women of this world, to that degree we will face ego problem. Correct, no? But if that mentality is drained out, then one will feel, oh, such a beautiful pastime because Krishna is protecting me. So they are thinking they are whom? Gopi side. So if we put ourselves on Gopi side, we feel protected. Similarly, you put yourself on Nagapatni's side, then you will feel that, oh, Krishna is so kind. That's because Nagapatnis are devotees. He has delivered Kaliya completely. He is so kind to Kaliya's, Kaliya because of the connection of Kaliya to the Nagapatnis. So in the same manner, Rasa Leela also we should put ourselves in whose role? Gopi's role or Krishna's role? Gopi's role. If you think we are Krishna, then we are imitator. That's what he told. Somewhere he told about imitating, no? It came in the previous page, I think. Yeah. The living entities are also differentiated expansions of the Lord's self because some of them desire to be lords and imitate the Supreme Lord, he's saying. Correct, no? Imitate the Supreme Lord. So that imitating desire is there in the Jiva. To be a lord and a master, to be a boss on a boss. Finish it, complete it? Yeah.
The Lord always helps the pure devotees by imparting necessary knowledge within their hearts, and thus, out of his special favor, he dissipates all the darkness of ignorance.
What is the darkness? What is the darkness karmis have? Possessive mentality, proprietorship mentality. What is the darkness jnanis have? Enjoying mentality, speculating and enjoying, yeah. And what is the darkness yogis have? Controlling mentality, bossing mentality, yeah. So all this is removed by the Lord, yeah.
The speculative philosophers and yogis cannot imagine this because they more or less depend on their own strength. As stated in the Katha
I told you about this before, no? Jnani think, I'll figure out the truth, absolute truth, by studying Upanishads, Vedanta. And some are very proud of their scholarly aptitude in Vedantic study or Upanishadic study. So can they figure out Krishna? Krishna will never reveal himself to them. Similarly, the yogis also try to control the mind by observing the mind and doing the asanas, pranayama, pratyahara, hatha yoga, all those things. They try to rigidly, by a mechanical method, they try to restrain the running mind. The yogis also. Bhaktas actually are like children who depend on the mother. Like a child cries for the mother. So that's the difference, yeah. Yes.
As stated in the Katha Upanishad 1.2.23, the Lord can be known only by those whom he favors and not by anyone else. Such special favors are bestowed upon his pure devotees only.
Nayammatma pravachanena labhyo na medhaya bahuna shrutena tammeva vrinate tena labhyaha. That's a verse. So he says that even by giving many pravachanas, you cannot get the Lord. And even by hearing thousands of pravachanas, you cannot get him, he says. And na medhaya, not by your intelligence. Bahuna shrutena, even after you have read and heard, there are many people who can tell you tikas. And so there are people who can give Sanskrit lectures also. They can eloquently speak in Sanskrit. But therefore Prahlad Maharaj was amazed when Brahma told him to offer the prayer to Narsimha. Offer a garland to him. So that time one bit first was, what the first verse is? Brahmadaya suragana munayota siddha satpai katana matayo vachasam pravahai naraditum purugunai raduna pipipruhu kim toshtumarhati same harirugrajate. As it is saying. Oh, I am born in Ugrajati, he is saying. Ugrajati means which jati? Rakshasas, like Hiranyakashipu. And these are all devatas who can sing streams of poetry, sweet poetry. And they know Sanskrit so fluently. I am a 5-year-old boy, never went to Gurukula, so I am very young now. But what can I sing? But I am being asked, although I am born in Ugrajati. So I have no qualification, but I am given a chance. So what to do? Let me take advantage of the chance, so that I can purify my heart by glorifying the Lord. So he's coming. So he's calling himself as a Ugrajati, he's calling. I am born in a low-class family. And therefore you find here, devatas were highly accomplished and qualified, but they had no guts to come in front of the Lord to pacify him. So they had to put Prahlad in the front. Go ahead.
Sri Isopanishad thus points to the favor of the Lord, which is beyond the purview of the Brahmajyoti.
Brahmajyoti is the third level. Beyond Brahmajyoti is the Paramatma, beyond that is Bhagavan. So we can recite the next verse and read a little bit, and another 25 minutes or so. Vayuranilam amritam atedam bhasmantam shariram om krato smara kritam smara krato smara kritam smara.
Let this temporary body be burnt to ashes, and let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you.
So now what we will do, we will see a little bit of this. Okay. See, now we are in which verse now? Now the 15 to 16 verses. What is the similarity here? Let us see. What is the 15th verse now? How does it? Hiranmayana Patana. So they both are similar. Next one also says you open the covering so that I can see your face. Act of prayer both reveals and increases strength of the desire. Okay. I read this. Mantra 15.
Mantra 15. Prayer to remove the Lord's effulgence so we may see him. Mantra 16. Prayer to realize the Lord himself and our relationship with him.
See, now you know the difference. For this only I showed you. Because you may say both are saying, remove the covering so we can, we can see your face. No, it is not just, sorry. It is not, both are not saying the same thing. So one is talking about seeing the Lord. Hiranmayana patrena satyasya apihita mukham. The second one talks about that realize the Lord. So what it was? Pushanne karshe yamsodya prajapatya vyuharashmin samuha tejo. Correct, no? So if you see Pushan, ekarishe, prajapatya, all these things talk about who the Lord is and what is his relationship with us, our relationship with him. Correct, no? So because even if the Lord like that he shows his form, then if I don't feel a strong relation with him, will I be able to properly reciprocate with his darshan? Therefore he is saying this. Because seeing alone is not enough. Even Karna, Duryodhana, Dushasana, Shakuni, they all saw Krishna. No, eye to eye they saw, correct, no? They saw the Lord, but could they benefit from seeing you? They couldn't. Therefore he is saying, my dear Lord, even before you give your darshan, better you give me the right eyes to see you properly. Correct, no? He is saying. Now you see this one. See, three things are there. Vision, guidelines, and prayers. Why I am showing this? We are coming towards a concluding part. So you have to know. The first part, invocation, read only the headings.
Foundation of knowledge of Supreme Person.
Yeah, Om Purnamada Purnam in that verse. Yeah, and then?
Practices for living entities.
Yeah, practices means what? First verse, you all know Isha Vasamidam and Tena Raktena Bunjita. So two conditions are put. One is, ultimately who is the owner? Ishvara is the owner. Correct, no? Krishna is the owner. And therefore we should do only Tena Taktena Bunjita. So therefore, that is the second one. And if you don't follow this, then Asurya Namate Lokha. Andena Tamasavrita. That means if you don't do verse 2, then, correct, no? Verse 2, what is the verse 2? Kuruvan Nedeha Karmani, that's a right behavior. If you act according to the first verse, those two things you follow. Accept Krishna's domination, Krishna's supremacy, and Krishna being the, what do you call it? And we taking only our quota. If you follow these two statements in verse 1, then that may go take you to verse number 2. And then you can live for how long, how many years you can live? Shatam Samaha, 100 years you can live. And in case you don't follow that, then third verse. What is the third verse? Asurya Namate. Then you be prepared for going to Asurya Namate Loka Andena Tapasavrita. Correct, no? So that is 1 to 3 is over. So practices for living entities, correct, no? So these three verses are very, very important because we have to teach people about these three things. Who is the proprietor, who is the controller, who is the enjoyer. Wherever we go in preaching, this will be one of the foundational topics. Because people get their eyes open to these three truths, then they are likely to become careful in dealing with material energy. Otherwise, living entities are ruining their spiritual career. So therefore, in the very beginning it starts. And then mantra 4 to 5.
Knowledge of the Supreme Person.
That is Anejadekam Manaso Javiyo Naina Deva Apnuman Purva Marshad Tadavato Jnana Tyetishtat Tasmin Napo Madarishwa Dadati, correct, no? And that one, and Tadejadi Tanejadi. So the Anedjakam verse talks about his inconceivable nature of the Lord. And then the next verse, Tadej Dhanaj, talks about contradictions in the Lord, how they are all resolved in the Lord, correct? No? So therefore, knowledge of Supreme Person means you have to know his, inconceivable nature. Achintya kalavo bhava natam starkena yojiyet prakritibhya param yacha tat achintya sa lakshanam. This is the definition of what is achintya. That it's transcendental, it is divine. Natam starkena yojiyet. Simply by argument and logic, you cannot understand everything about God. Something you can understand, but not everything. Yeah. And Prakriti Param Yacha means it's transcendental, it's divine, it's beyond the mundane plane. So we all have to have faith in something that is inconceivable. As explained in scripture, one of the confidence you should have is, I am not accepting anything blindly because some man has told me. I am accepting because scripture is confirming it. So that is the 4, 5. And then 6, 7, 8.
Knowledge and practice of spiritual vision.
What is that? That is about Uttama Bhagavat. Correct, no? How he sees all living entities are part and parcels of the Lord, and all jivas are resting in Krishna's lotus feet, and Uttamadhikari vision. Sarva Bhuteshu Pashyet, Bhagavat Bhavam Atmani, and all that. So, yeah. Okay, now that these are all coming in vision. And guidelines?
Guidelines for knowledge and guidelines for practice.
Yeah, easy to remember, correct, no? So one is about Vidya, one is about Sambhuti, Masambhuti. Correct, no? And then the last one, prayers.
Prayers for knowledge, prayers for practice.
15, 16 is prayers for knowledge. So we finished 15, 16, correct, no? Now we are in 17 and 18, they actually go together because they talk about something more down to earth practical. But 15, 16 also talk about, first one talks about, oh Lord, please remove your effulgence so I can see your beautiful face. Desire to see the Lord. And then the 16th one talks about begging the Lord for realized knowledge so that when I see you, I'll be able to love you. Not that I see you like Karna is saying, or Dushasana is saying, Shakuni is saying. So when I see you, I should be serving you, like that. So that is the 16th, realized knowledge, 16th. So now 17th, 18th is the last part, which is prayer for practice. So you can see the two slots, guidelines and prayers. Guidelines for knowledge, guidelines for practice. There are also prayer for knowledge, prayer for practice. So similarity can be seen in these things. See, beautiful picture, no? Read it.
Key phrase. Lord, we cannot see beyond your glow, but it is you we wish to know.
This is this one. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya abhitamukam. So we cannot see beyond your glow, so remove the glow so we can see you. Nicely. They put it in a very nice format. Yeah, I can read this.
After praying for realization of the knowledge given, the devotee prays for the Lord to accept his spiritual practices or service in mantras 17 to 18. In mantra 17, the devotee, while praying to abandon these temporary material bodies, begs the Lord to remember all his sacrifices and service. Our material bodies are given to us according to our desires, but actually these bodies are foreign coverings for the eternal spiritual soul. So that he may develop the desire for spiritual life, the devotee constantly engages in the service of the Lord. The Lord blesses such a devotee with spiritual realization so that the devotee's material attachments may decrease. Spiritual activities or devotional service begin with hearing and chanting about the Lord. In mantra 18, the devotee prays for guidance on the spiritual path and the removal of past sinful reactions which may hinder his progress. One becomes perfect by thus surrendering unto the Lord, who at once takes charge of such a devotee. Gradually, such a devotee develops all the qualities of a saintly person, such as truthfulness, sense control, tolerance, simplicity, and faith in God. The Lord thus guides the devotee on the path of righteousness and spiritual progress. He guides externally as the scriptures, saints, and spiritual master, and internally from the heart, from within the heart. As one follows this path of the Lord, one becomes a pure devotee. In summary, mantra 17, prayer for Lord to remember our service to Him. Prayer 18.
Om krato smara kratam smara, krato smara kratam smara. Yeah.
And mantra 18, prayer for Lord to guide us on path to reach Him.
So the 17th one, we are requesting, please remember the seva that I have done for you. And 18th part, please guide me back to you. Lead, can be light. See here. I read it.
Lord, for spiritual life on you I depend, to always be there as a guide and a friend.
Nice, no? The two prayers are combined and put together. In my spiritual life, I depend on you to always be there as a guide and as a friend. He's walking towards the Lord. also I wanted to show you that also. So many points are there. You can read. 17.
The material body is a foreign dress that must be given up. The best way to give up the body is by surrendering to the Lord, not by going to the Brahmajyoti. The importance of the last thought. Krishna never forgets our service to him. Krishna's mercy is ever available through devotional service. Bhagavatam elaborates this verse and all other verses. Prepare for death by devotional practice.
So this theme is very clear. Mantra 17 is all about ensuring that we have done our part, our seva, and we are requesting Lord to remember. See, many of you may have in your mind, do you think Lord does not remember your service? Is it a proper attitude to tell him, please remember? He remembers millions of lifetimes. But you will see that devotees treat the Lord very personally. Like when you go to the temple, you ring the bell. Tang! You ring the bell, correct? Now, why you ring the bell? You actually wake up the Lord to your presence. You are actually telling the Lord, my dear Lord, I have come to your temple. I come to your dwar of your temple. Bow down to you. I am drawing your attention. Please be merciful to this pitiable soul. You are drawing his attention. Now, somebody may argue with you that, is it really necessary to ring the bell and tell him? Anyway, his eyes are always open. He never blinks the eyes. He's always watching all the people coming, going. Correct? No? For that matter, we can always say, why to offer bhoga to him? Ultimately, all food is his food only. Some may say, but after all, why go to the temple at all? God is everywhere. People say like that. And then they go to movie after that. After saying that. Correct. Now, therefore, therefore it is better that, because God is everywhere, but can you see him everywhere? Then you better go to the temple. And then, therefore, people take sankalpa in the Karmakanda pujas also. I, Radhe Shyam Das, living in this particular place, on this particular tithi, Bharata Varshe, Bharata Kande, Shukla Pakshe. You have seen that they say, why you have to take a sankalpa? It's not the Lord will forget if you don't take this. But for whose benefit we are taking this sankalpa? Our benefit, because, you have to know that you have done this kriya for the Lord. And like marriage also, husband and wife have to do so many, rituals. Especially modern day boys, girls, they get really fed up. And they have to, and parents say, once in a lifetime, at least do this properly. They tell them, because it takes 3-4 hours sitting in front of the sacrificial fire and smoke and everything. And the fellow is from America, girl is from Canada. So they have to sit sometimes, correct, no? So sometimes, but why these rituals are kept? In order to make them understand, hey, see, such a day-long puja we did for you, don't divorce. Don't easily, marry today and divorce tomorrow. Give up your independent mentality and be aligned. Same thing with Diksha also. Diksha program. Why in those days we used to have Diksha? Practically Diksha used to be all-day program. I'll tell you, I remember, I took in 93 May, 1993. So in those days, the whole program would start in the morning by about 9 o'clock until 9:30. We're doing kirtan for an hour, and then all the people will be brought, and there will be a procedure explained how to do achaman, correct, no? How to sit and where Harinam Chitar while offering obeisances, don't touch Harinam Chitar to the ground. All those procedures they will teach. And then there is a devotee who will teach you about the 10 offenses. What are they? Now you're going to chant more seriously after initiation. And then, of course, all this comes after the 13 questions test is there. After that. So, and then when the Guruji would come, then he would give a lecture 1.5 to 2 hours sometimes. All people are sitting with their Harinam Chitar respective places and lecture will be there. And others also attend, visitors also, their parents also. And after that, the name giving ceremony is a very big thing, playing Kartal and, and then after that, there will be Yajna. So there are 3 parts, if you see, giving instructions, and then giving the initiation of names, giving instructions and taking oath, correct, no? And then giving out the names and giving the malas. And third part is Yajna. And all of them offering that leaf and everything in the Yajna and then circumambulating and doing kirtan. So the whole procedure will go up to 2 o'clock practically. 2 to 2:33, start at 9 o'clock. Almost how many? 5 hours or so program. After that, you go and take big feast and then you bake some alms and then give it. So the whole day is gone in there. So why this is done? Because it has a tremendous impact on our consciousness. And also we have received blessings of all the acharyas, all the demigods, Supreme Personal Godhead Krishna, and the deities are standing right in the front. They are blessing also right now. So, and then a person has initiated, he will be understanding, my Lord, so many, such a vital event, I should be very careful to complete my rounds. I should not keep some few rounds every day. And I should be following the 4 regs. My spiritual master will suffer if I don't follow the 4 regs. All that. So in this way, Therefore, when you are telling the Lord that I am doing these things for you, actually by becoming accountable to your superior, that accountability helps you to become more committed also. Whether superior saw your report fully or not, still there's no problem. Because by writing report to your superior, by being accountable, you yourself understand where are you not showing sufficiently, improvement, and you can improve in that. This is one of the reasons I always demand a report from different people. Yeah. So this was mantra 17, and mantra 18 is actually how the obstacles on spiritual path originate, how to attain perfection the gradual way, and the quick way. There are two ways explained there, and how the omnipotent Supreme Lord guides the devotee. And this is what I was telling you just now, a few minutes ago. See, here's the overview of overview. See, Isha principle and harmony, verses 1 to 3. Harmony and disharmony. Correct, no? And verse 4 to 8 is?
Who is the Ishvara?
Yeah. As understood by Mahabhagavad devotee. Correct, no? And then verses 6 to 7, spiritual vision of Mahabhagavata. That is, until the 48, they are given 4 and 5 is inconceivable and contradictions in Ishvara, which are resolved. And then 6 and 7 is vision of a Mahabhagavata. And then 8 is how Mahabhagavata understands the Ishvara. 9 to 14.
Understanding and misunderstanding the Ishvara.
See how beautiful summary. Vidya, and Sambhutim, Asambhutim. So all that can be called as right understanding and misunderstanding, wrong understanding of the Ishvara. And this is subdivision under that. 9 to 11 is Vidya, Avidya. And 12 to 14 is?
Demigod worship versus worship of Supreme Lord.
Yeah. And then 15 to 18 is?
Prayers to Ishvara to reveal himself.
Yeah. That's all. So, sorry. Now you got an idea, fair idea, how the whole Isopanishad flows. So we were in 17, read the translation again.
Let this temporary body be burnt to ashes.
We can even read the word to word also. Vayuhu, air of life. Anilam, total reservoir of air. Amritam, indestructible. Atha, now. Idam, this. Bhasmantam, after being turned to ashes. Shariram, body. Om, O Lord. Krato, O enjoyer of all sacrifices. Smara, please remember. Kritam, all that has been done by me. Smara, please remember. Kritam, all that I have done for you. Smara, please remember. So, see, Om Krato means Krishna. And because it's the Bhoktaram, Yajnatapasam, correct, no? So, Smara, oh Supreme Lord, please remember. Kritam Smara. Kritam means the activity that we have done, that Jiva has performed. Oh Krata means, oh Supreme Bhokta of this, all the sacrifices. Please remember the services that I have done for you. Like we say, Mantrahinam, Kriyahinam, Bhaktihinam, Janardana, Yat Pujitam Maya Devam, Paripurnam Tadastami. There's one more verse also, one before that. What do you call it? That also talks about, that also talks about the deficiency in our Bhaktihinam, Kriyahinam, Bhaktihinam, Mantrahinam, Kriyahinam, Janardana, and then, oh, that is the second one. There is one more. Yatanda Bhakti Matrena, Patram Pushpam Phalam, Jalam, Aveditam Nivedayantu Tat Grihananu Kampaya. Correct that one. Yeah, how it begins? Yat Dattam, Bhakti Matrena, and Pushpam, Phalam, Jalam, all these things I am trying to offer you. But while offering, what happens? Some mantra we forget what mantra to offer. Or mind slips out somewhere. It may go, we may not utter the mantra. Or sometimes, we are slowly offering. Suddenly we find the other two pujaris have picked up already. Now they are going to turn to the proper side. Then immediately you must finish it. Mistakes we commit very fastly. Very fastly we try to complete it. We do many mistakes. So who doesn't know? Lord knows everything. What all this fellow is doing. Correct, no? So, many apacharas may happen, mistakes. For example, when I was worshipping the Lord here, the Achaman was in the extreme descent. So when I took the chamar and did like this, whole Achaman Padre toppled down. It fell off. Sometimes things fall off because of our carelessness. Correct, no? Actually, we commit many mistakes. When we go to the deities, you get to understand. Like you are, what do you call, ponching the floor. What is ponching? mopping, yeah, mopping the floor. Point is in Hindi. Yeah? When you're mopping the floor, sometimes Tulasi Maharani is standing there. You may just be hitting her in the name of mopping like this. You may be bending her like this. Huh? So unknowingly, if you are careless. So therefore, the deity worship requires Brahminical qualities. Carelessness and all will be finished off by that. Punctuality, attention, alertness, and also carefulness. You can't be careless there. So in this way, uh, when we are actually praying to the Lord, let me do these things. Read the purport. One paragraph we'll read and we'll conclude. Yeah.
The temporary material body is certainly a foreign dress. The Bhagavad Gita 2.20 clearly says that after the destruction of the material body, the living entity is not annihilated, nor does he lose his identity. The identity of the living entity is never impersonal or formless. On the contrary, it is the material dress that is formless, and that takes a shape according to the form of the indestructible person. No living entity is originally formless, as is wrongly thought by those with a poor fund of knowledge. This mantra verifies the fact that the living entity exists after the annihilation of the material body.
Yeah, like if you see, this cloth is formless. But as soon as you put the finger here, you get the form. Correct, no? So the form comes because of the soul having a form. Otherwise, the matter is formless. How do you know that? As soon as the soul leaves the matter, what happens to the matter? Matter gets disintegrated. You will see that. Because matter has only one change. What is that one change? Depreciation and disintegration. That is matter. Whereas when the soul is inserted into the matter, then it assumes a form. Like for example, you have this electrician's gloves, correct, no? You have the surgeon's gloves, correct, no? Similarly, you have these boxing gloves, isn't it? So all these different gloves, but all these gloves have a shape. Why? Because when you put the hand inside and move, then only they can have the shape. But as soon as the hand is removed, the gloves falls back like that. So therefore, you can see that Jiva has like the hand is same, although it is entering into different type of gloves. The electric gloves is very thick. You've seen that, and surgeon gloves is very thin. Boxing gloves are little fat. So the external may appear different, but inside the hand is same. So our Swarupa doesn't change. Our Swarupa remains the same. But it is in a shrunk form like a Balagra Shatabhagasya. Shatada Kalpitasya. The Jiva is right now small, but even in that small form, there is a Swarupa is there. We have to gradually wake up the Swarupa, sleeping soul. Jiva Jago Jiva. I mean, wake up, then the full form will come, but the Swarupa will not be changed. Hand is like when you are keeping a boxing gloves, you do the hand like this. And other gloves you may keep like this. But ultimately the hand is same only. So Swarupa remains same, but the external bodies are changing. We are releasing hand from one gloves and putting in another gloves. So in this way, we are removing ourselves from one body and entering into second body, third body, fourth body, like that. So the soul has a form. Without the soul having form, the body cannot exhibit any form. Because, for example, if you see a bunch of 24 material elements there, you are not going to see the form like ours, correct? No? But entering of the soul makes those forms. That was one point. Another point, if you think very deeply, you all have a physical heart and a physical head. Correct, no? Right now you have a head and you have a heart. But figuratively also we say a person of the heart means very compassionate person, very kind person, friendly person, forgiving person, and who is very, very much loved by many, like that. And a person of the head means a sharp person, shrewd person, intelligent person. Nobody can cheat him. Everybody knows he's a very ustad, a very expert fellow. You can't do any golmal in front of him. He's a very alert fellow. He will catch you. So there are people who are called people of head, people of heart. So when I ask this question to people, which one you want to be? Most of them selected which one? Heart. Yeah. Oh, I want to be people of heart. But people of heart have another problem. People will call you sentimental. You have blind faith. You are you will be misled by people. You can never say no to anybody. So sometimes people can push you to do things which you don't want to do. And people of heart, because they tend to be very soft. Correct. No? They can't strongly present. So these are practical problems. And the person of the head has other type of problem. What is it? People will say, oh, he's a heartless fellow. He's hard-hearted fellow. People will say, it's a cruel fellow. Or they may say that he's very proud. He thinks he knows everything. These kind of things and all. So now, therefore, we will see that to live in this world very effectively, efficiently, we need both. We have to have a balance of head and heart. Those people who have the good balance of both, we call it as a balance of courage versus considerate. Similarly, bold versus sensitive. Or willing to listen to others and then speak out to others what one wants to do. Some people only listen and they don't open up. Later on you come to know they didn't like the idea. They won't speak. Correct? You've seen, and they're too timid people, we call it. So we need a combination. So that means, if you have a head and heart, you are a person. Correct? No? Now you look at the world around you, the nature, the colorful flowers, the fragrant flowers, the beauty of the Niagara waterfalls, the beauty of the Grand Canyon, the beauty of the rainbow in the sky, the beauty of the little children, the little puppy dogs, little uh, elephants, baby elephants. So if you see the beauty, this goes to show Lord's head or heart. Lord's heart. Beauty, sweetness, fragrance, like for example, the sweet sounds of the cuckoos, the beauty of the nature, or the all the five senses you can see. The sweetness you hear from the ears, beauty you see from the eyes, the smells you get from the nose, the six type of tastes you get. All these things show which one? Heart of the Lord or head of the Lord? Heart of the Lord. It shows the Lord must be a very aesthetic person, person of aesthetic appeal. Like for example, if one shaman was telling, if a husband wife comes to temple, the wife immediately sees the chandeliers, she will see chandeliers, and she will see the beautiful designs. Oh, look at this design, such a beautiful cloth they have chosen with the design. Hey, look at the chandelier, it looks very elegant. The husband will be asking his other friend, he'll be asking, ये कितना होगा? 300 फुट होगा? 300 foot? Like that. Hey, what will be the total size of the hall? So he is more calculative. He has a left brain active. We call it logical brain. And women have right brain active, which is artistic brain. Artistic. And God has got both. Correct. He has a heart and a head. Correct. Now, men are more head side. Women are more heart side. Generally speaking, not always. Generally. But God has got both head and heart because he's Ardhanarishwar also. Correct. No? He's half of his body is Radharani, half him. So, why I am telling you, based on this head and heart understanding, you can even you have a head and heart, figuratively as well as physically. So therefore, the soul also has a head and heart. That means he's a person. How can an entity having head and heart not be a person? Tell me. So God also in the nature is showing how his heart is beautiful. And similarly, you all have seen this Fibonacci, what is that mathematical spiral. So what does that show? God's head or heart? Head. Like, Earth is revolving around the sun in 365.256 up to the third decimal. Such precision. Head or heart? It's a head, yeah. Because, the planets never clash. The traffic control is perfectly maintained. So in this way, you can see even he has a head and heart. Therefore, he is a person. That's the point. So that with that, we will leave today. And then we will cover the rest of the purports in the future, next session. Shri Prabhupada ki, Dr. Avinda ki. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. We'll meet again tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Isopanishad ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Radhe, thank you.